Hello, everyone. We're just gonna go through here and make sure that we are live on everything. We're just gonna go through here. Sounds like we may have briefly had an echo. But that should be fixed now. Alright, so we got sound there. Trying to get some things to work. Well, I was really hoping to be able to do voice sound effects, but appears that something's not working right. As is per far for the course. Thanks for stopping by. Who probably would be my only visitor. I am feeling a tad better. Not 100% yet, but I am feeling a tad better. Just really weird that I should have my voice sounding like a strange, funky person. And for some reason, it's not doing it. Oh, well, yeah, it's kind of one of those things like, welcome to my life kind of thing, I guess. You know, like, why should it work? That would make sense. But what can you say? I'm betting I can try one more thing. It seems like every time I come in, there's There's something different you gotta do, something you gotta change. So let me see if this fixes it. Maybe now. Now it kind of sounds like I'm hearing nothing. That was a bad idea. Well, that was definitely a bad idea. Definitely a bad idea. So we won't do that again. Okay, well, we'll just have to deal with not having my voice sound funny. Because life isn't fair. So, we got a lot to talk about. And one of the first things I thought we would go over is that they continue to insist that, you know, Twitter is just on its way out. But this is my cat's way of saying nobody fucking cares. I just want you either playing with me or I want you to be sitting in the recliner so that I can lay on your lap. Little ass, it is what it is. You're just gonna have to deal with it, Fuss Budget. Just like I have to deal with it. In a perfect world, though, I mean, I would be doing exactly that. Curled up with you, having a nice time. But that's just not the way things go. So here was an article that I considered interesting here. There are some people that believe Twitter won't last weeks. But here's another recent article that insists that why Twitter will not die despite losing 70% of its staff. And I mean, that's a lot to lose, you know. Some people might be like, this is a disaster. This is horrible. But I mean, really, the $10 million question is, really come to that? Will that really happen? And so let's look what this article says about the odds of that happening. And this is from the former GitHub CTO. So former GitHub CTO Jason Warner. Ha! That's my last name. Winraw is Warner spelled backwards. Well, I mean, obviously, I instantly like this guy. Will most likely remain functional and operational despite Twitter shedding more than half of its employees and the majority of its contractors in a matter of weeks. The biggest reason, the very nature of Twitter itself. Twitter, the service, can suffer lots and lots and lots of issues, and it will still be a useful, amusing service for many, he tweeted in a long thread on the topic. It is not the same as a mission-critical product. Excuse me. With the changing of the weather, I've been dealing with a lot of issues. Mission-critical products such as Microsoft-owned GitHub form an essential part of the workforce for almost 100 million developers. So, I mean, that's an interesting point right there. Think about it. How often is something like this mission critical? It's not a product that another service relies on in order to be able to function. It's not a mission critical type thing. It forms an essential part of the workforce for almost 100 million developers. That's what Microsoft-owned GitHub does. So if that went down, millions of developers would be screwed. Others like Twilio or Stripe or Cloudflare, Warner says, form part of the critical infrastructure of the internet and the economy. Outages there caused massive and immediate disruption. So, Twitter is just a different, it's just the type of product that it is. I think with Twitter, what it is that it's this self-contained entity. Whereas this other products are used to keep an entire business, multiple businesses running, and I guess stuff like that. So they form part of the infrastructure of the internet and the economy. Outages there cause massive and immediate disruption. Twitter, on the other hand, while important and used by hundreds of millions of people, it is much more fault tolerant. Okay, so that's the way that it explains it. To me, I understand it as not being part of a massive interconnected thing. That's the way I understand it. Twitter, it's used, by hundreds of people for casual distraction during the day. Warner says, sure, some people use it for work, etc., but that's not the main use case. The very nature of the Twitter product allows Twitter to service so much uptime, latency, architectural leeway that no, the faults we've been seeing and likely to see for a while will not cause it to fail. There's been significant concern on Twitter itself that the platform, deprived of thousands of talented engineers, staff members, could crash or fail. It's one of the reasons that the smaller distributed social network Mastodon has seen massive growth and why hashtag #RipTwitter was trending. But Twitter is not likely to crash or die anytime soon due to technical issues, Warner says. In fact, it had numerous and frequent technical issues earlier in its growth stages, the notorious fail whale era, and survived. That doesn't mean, Warner says, that all is perfectly fine. Even casual users have seen plenty of small issues pop up in the last few weeks, he says, and a quick test of a Twitter API he did showed potential for much more significant errors. I have personally noticed minor issues such as pages or tweets not loading, usually fixed with a refresh on the web or restarting the app in the past week or so. See, I have not noticed anything. For me, Twitter has continued to work and function as Twitter always has. I've not noticed any changes to how Twitter functions or any of that. So I don't know exactly why it is that some people are, but I just find it interesting that is the case. That tweets aren't loading, anything like that. But ultimately, missing a tweet here or there or other minor delays as engineers work with reduced teams on perhaps different projects and parts of the code base is not the end of the world. More serious risks, however, include those like the one that allowed full-length movies onto Twitter just 3 days ago. Whoops. See, I didn't hear anything about that. That's hilarious. That's funny. Copyright law lawsuits based on copyright infringement are no joke. Other risks are likely based on lack of oversight. I've personally seen more porn being shared on Twitter with trending hashtags in recent weeks, including 3 cases today while searching for things like Twitter fail or rip Twitter for this post. See, that's interesting because I don't know. Somehow or another, that stuff happens, and this is something I always miss. I can't tell you that it's not happening. I just know that for whatever reason, I never see this or experience this. And I wish I knew why that was. And that brings new dangers, Warner says. It's everything around the service that makes up the company where the risk is. There are very, very, very likely bespoke tools with years of learnings based into the logic workflows that requires the system to interact a certain way. When all of those things fail, lots of odd, potentially bad, or maybe illegal things can happen. It's also when hackers, nation states, etc. can have the most opportunity. On the tech side, however, Warner says while there will be some challenges and some suffering, there's not like to be the kind of massive Twitter fail that has the service down for days or weeks at a time. So, I mean, that makes sense. And it seems like, to me, the primary thing is that Twitter is not a product that really relies on that another product has to rely on it in order to function. It's not a mission critical thing in the same way that Microsoft Office is designed to be a mission critical type feature. It's more self-contained is the way that I understand it. So, but there was a story earlier that I can find that that like everyone wants you to believe that it's just imminent. It's going to be just an automatic thing. Like, here's this article here. Former Twitter employees fear the platform might last only weeks. There's just no way Elon Musk can make it without us. We were overbloated, but no. He needs us. He needs us all. An ultimatum by Elon Musk demanding extremely hardcore working culture appears to have backfired. Insiders fear this could spell the end without drastic changes. Dun 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 dun. You know, some things that he wants them to do should not have been considered a big deal. Like, so what the fuck he wanted people to show up? How dare he? How dare he demand that, you know, people actually come into the office and meet with him. But, you know, kind of the nature of a lot of businesses and what they do is that you didn't necessarily have to be on site to do a lot of things. And that you could log into servers and into other things automatically, and it would be fine. So, I'll do one thing here. Just letting some people know that we're on. So, recently departed Twitter staff have told MIT Technology Review they worry that the platform has weeks to live, judging from current staffing levels, mass resignations overnight, and the morals of those few who remain. With some within Twitter estimating that 75% of those remaining plans to quit after Elon Musk sent an email informing them that they will need to be extremely hardcore and must click yes on a Google form to remain employed. The company is likely to be certainly short-staffed in the days to come. Last night, Twitter told its staff that all offices were locked and access suspended after it became clear how few were willing to remain on those terms. And a tweet last week, Musk said that the best people are staying, so I'm not super worried. For those who escaped the mad list earlier, either through layoffs or after being fired for insubordination, is a troubling development. You're seeing you can only push the workers so far before they're going to revolt, says Melissa Eagle, a senior data scientist contractor who was laid off by Musk this weekend. These people have options. They're successful in their careers. They don't want to be put through this. Ingles worries that the wide-scale revolt triggered by Musk's hardcore ultimatum will send the end of Twitter without drastic changes. There's just not enough technical expertise anymore to keep the site running, she says. He's afraid of his own people. Unless major changes are made, I don't see how it lasts a month. So, I mean, but here's the thing, you're talking about people that are probably pretty frustrated with Elon right now. They're not very happy with the way things are going. So should we just assume that it's natural for them to be spelling gloom, doom, and despair for the website? There are definitely, things he should probably be doing differently. But I don't know if you can really you should really give people that ultimatum. You gotta be hardcore and you gotta be doing XYZ. Well, that's it. But they could also be afraid of what Musk is going to reveal about what is going on. Like Matt Wallace supposedly says, Elon Musk is moving forward behind the scenes with a plan to expose all of the Twitter corruption from the inside. They have a valid interest in people being like, oh, let's just quit Twitter now because everything is ending. It's over. They could have a very valid interest in doing that. I know at one point I saw Musk tweeting the deeper I go, the more concerned that I am. But see, this is why sometimes you gotta love Elon Musk. He found all these stay woke shirts and he said, awesome new Twitter merch, #stay at work. Oh gosh. See, here was the video that he shared about that. Twitter verified that definitely didn't work so well. What they really need to do with that, and it's something that a lot of people don't want to do. And I can't really blame him. It's trying to say that I've lost my camera, which is weird. Let's see if I can get the camera back. Could have been something that my crazy cat did. There's always that possibility. What is going on here? Let's see what I can do here. Ah, there we go. It's very possible that my cat bumped something, and that's why you couldn't see me. He's kind of going all over the place now. He's back up here. Let's see, he wants my undivided attention. So, if we assume that there's a possibility that, Trump has that Elon has stuff that he's gonna expose, then yeah, I can understand why people might be worried. Like, one of the things that everyone's worried about is Hunter Biden's laptop and the role that Twitter might have played in trying to hide that. And so we're gonna go to that website here. And I have not listened to any of this, so I can't really say that I know what it is that we're into here. I just know that it's a thing that it's supposed to be huge. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. So let's see. We got a couple of things here on this website. SAR. See, I don't know. More problems, a devastating op-ed from Maureen Dowd. Transcript. An orgy with Daphne Guinness and Joe thinks I am God. Biden laptop emails. Let's see what this thing is. Is it just gonna be So I don't know who.
I'm Garrett Ziegler, and I'm a former Trump White House staffer, and that is merely 1% of the degeneracy, debauchery, and criminality that is on Hunter Biden's laptop that was drunkenly dropped off at a Delaware laptop repair shop in April of 2019 and was never retrieved. Per Delaware law, the contents of that laptop became the shop owner's after 90 days. My small research group, Marco Polo, has a copy of the laptop, and we
Okay,
want
so
to
it's a
write a
research group.
comprehensive report that's analogous to the Mueller report on real foreign collusion. The Mueller report was a 2-year escapade that cost the American people over $15 million and found no collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians. In this laptop here, we not only have foreign collusion, but we have money laundering, sex crimes between Hunter Biden and multiple women, including his underage niece. And what we want to do is something that every single mainstream outlet is not going to do. And they're not going to do it, and they've had the chance now for almost a year, because a lot of them have had it since October. What we want to do is for the historical record, so in 500 years, when people read about America, they know that Joe Biden, who was the Manchurian candidate and who became the installed Manchurian president, exactly how he is compromised. And his son Hunter is one of the most corrupt, disgusting members of any American first family in the history of the country. We feel an obligation to do what every single law enforcement institution in this country, especially and including the Federal Bureau of Investigation, is not going to do. They've had the laptop since December of 2019, and they picked up that laptop not because of concerns about child exploitation, which is apparent if you look through the thing, but for money laundering, which is a crime and which Hunter did a lot of. But it's much deeper than that. We want to once and for all lay out exactly how the Biden family is compromised and how that relates to the election fraud that we just went through, in which I think there's no more important topic to delve into. Our group, which is 5 people including myself, has vast experience writing reports. I'm the youngest guy on the team, but I would submit that I have credentials in writing reports from election fraud to domestic manufacturing to the pandemic response to counterfeit goods and trafficking in counterfeit goods and trade. All of those things and more are going to be in the Hunter Biden laptop report. We want to spread a wide net and get small dollar gifts to do this thing. And what this will allow us to do is have editorial independence and to ensure that no one has control over the content, structure, and final result of the report. Lastly, we felt that it was necessary to contrast our mission and our project with the sham Mueller investigation. Our of what that fiasco, and not only do we have the benefit of Senator Johnson's report that was done last October, which was about Hunter and Burisma, we have the laptop as well. So did, and what Tony Bukolinski talked about last fall on Hunter and Jim and Joe Biden's Chinese business deals. We're going to tie it all, and we hope to have this done by Thanksgiving, and we think it is a duty of ours because we have this laptop and be buried, and we are going to be releasing large portions of it so that people can go through it themselves. We don't want to guard this thing. I think every American has the right to know what's on this laptop. What we want to do is synthesize all of these materials: the money laundering, the drugs, the collusion, the sex trafficking.
And I think that the American people deserve the truth. That it's just recently coming out in mainstream media saying, "Oh, yeah, that story about that you heard about Hunter's laptop. Oh yeah, it's real." And oh yeah, Ashley Biden's diary. which we'll take a look at here in a little bit, that's true as well. And so we're going to go through some of this and we're going to figure out what all of it is.
All of these entities that Hunter is involved with are shady and corrupt. And a few of them are CCP controlled themselves. The Bank of China is literally funding Hunter Biden. And remember, it's not just Hunter. In these text messages, Hunter tells his own family half of his salary has gone to his dad for his entire life. So this is our country. We're either going to be a republic or...
Now, I mean, here's the $1 million question: is there a missing context to the emails that they're showing? Is everything that they're saying true? Should we take all of this at face value just because someone named Garrett Ziegler that I've never heard of before, just because he says that these emails are proof of XYZ? Do we really know what they're proof of? That's a very quick question. You know, it's like, it can be hard to try to piece through this stuff and make sure that what it appears the information is saying, whether or not that's actually what it's saying. Stuff can get taken out of context. So that's what we have to figure out. We have to figure out what is being taken out of context and what isn't.
Or not. And I think that there's no better thing for me to do right now than to commit myself and my team to studying public corruption. Because what happened on November 3rd, 2020 was a sham, it's embarrassing, and it woke up a lot of people who were asleep at the switch, and they are now realizing how systemic the Chinese Communist Party and other entities are in our government. And so I would urge you all to consider giving a very small amount to this effort, and I pledge complete and utter transparency. There are a lot of groups on the right raising money for endeavors, and we don't even provide a budget. So on the flyer on our website, which you can find at marcopolo.guru/support.
So there we go. There's a grift.
We're telling you our budget, and we're telling you what it's...
There is a grift. There is a money ask. I mean, how should we not have seen that coming? But supposedly here, somewhere on here there's something that we're going to be able to look at that's going to explain to us all the financials behind of it. And so far, I've not seen that. So we'll see here. I haven't seen what that's
cost to hire forensics teams to basically map out Hunter's movements. There's an amazing Australian think tank that has mapped out every single Chinese entity in their influence across the world in their Belt and Road Initiative. That's interesting. We're going to be doing the same thing with Hunter, with the
Now it's not a Russian company. It's supposedly an Australian company. What would be interesting to know would be to know more about that particular entity and who it is that funds that entity, who it is that hires that entity. You always follow the money. You always do as much research on different aspects of things that you possibly can.
SIF data that's on these photos, we're going to be going through and mapping out who he was meeting with and when. And we're going to be releasing through torrents and other tools large portions of the laptop that have never been released. And we're asking for your support, and we want to be as transparent as possible. So thank you for listening. God bless you. And I think that there's no more important thing than the election fraud and the Biden crime syndicate. God bless you.
So there should be a way here for They had I had to go to the transcript page link to get this. I'm not sure where exactly how he got there on the website itself. But there's the mailing address. So Marco Polo, it's a 501c3. Budget for HP laptop report. So let's take a look at that. How much does something like this cost for them to do? Wonder if it's gonna load. Well, while we're waiting for that to load, as I mentioned, that would be very, very interesting if that failed to load. Raise your hand if you think Elon Musk should make public all internal discussions about the decision to censor the New York Post story on Hunter Biden's laptop before the 2020 election in the interest of transparency. And Elon replied, "This is necessary to restore public trust." So people could be reasonably concerned about what is going to happen here. And one of the websites that was talking about the planning to do this was Newsmax, and it's not always the most reliable thing here, but let's take a look at what they're saying.
She was fired from CBS because she thought it'd be a good idea to report fairly on the Obama regime. CBS couldn't tolerate news over narrative when it came to Obama, so I suspect that Catherine was told to hold off until Democrats were firmly in control and had done max damage to the country before reporting on how the USA is likely being run now by a man who has sold us out to our enemies.
The 10 held by H for the big guy is shorthand for 10% held by Hunter for his father. After the email became public in 2020, the author of the email told the Wall Street Journal Joe Biden was not involved. The author has not responded to CBS News' questions. Mr. Biden has consistently denied knowledge of his son's work or financially benefiting from it.
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business.
But wait. We know that Biden's denial about never talking to Hunter about his business dealings is a lie. A voicemail from the laptop referenced a New York Times story that ever so gently suggested that Hunter's overseas dealings were suspect. Joe Biden's voicemail said, quote, "Hey, pal, it's Dad. It's 8:15 on a Wednesday night. If you get a chance, just give me a call. Nothing urgent. I just want to talk to you. I thought the article released online, it's going to be printed tomorrow in the Times. It was good. I think you're clear," end quote. That soundbite never made it into the CBS reporting. They couldn't allow confirmation that Joe Biden is a liar. Why? That might harm CBS's favorite political party, the Democrats. Folks, the lion's share of the press isn't fair. They aren't neutral players. They aren't calling balls and strikes. They don't even love this country and the document that gives them the right to do their jobs, the U.S. Constitution. The biased press are committed left-wingers who lie to their audiences every day, presenting narrative over news. That's why this show is superior to anything that is being done on most other networks. We are honest and upfront with our audience. We give you the facts as we know them, and we give you our conservative opinion on those facts. The majority of the press presents left-wing opinions, and they lie and call it news, even 2 years after it's news. Now, let's turn to a guy who often breaks news on national security issues. President of the London Center for Policy Research and National Security Advisor for President Trump in 2020, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer. Happy Thanksgiving, old friend. Nice to see you. 2 years after we reported the damning stories of the Hunter Biden laptop, CBS now admitting it's real. You had direct knowledge of the origins of the laptop from Hill.
I did.
And you even provided access to it. You were provided access to it. But when you offered your evidence to the mainstream press 2 years ago, what happened?
Two things. First, I tried to publicly speak out with it to a number of sources, to include Twitter. Chris, last time I checked, on my wall, I have a statement from the congressional record saying I'm a senior intelligence officer. Apparently, I did it for more a day or two. My opinion as a professional was not adequate to go up against those 50 intelligence officers who are saying this has the earmarks, quote unquote, earmarks of Russia disinformation. Secondly, to your point, my job as a former intelligence officer is to provide the facts as I understand them to you as someone I respect and I'm on the air with, to anyone else in the media who needs the information for purposes of reporting what's going on. And to that fact, I did have access to the Hunter Biden hard drive directly. I spoke with JP himself at least 3 times with his lawyer, helping bridge information to members of the media who wanted to have it. And I didn't care who wanted it as long as it got to the right people. This was not political, it was factual. And in regard to that, I knew from the day one, because Chris, the man who was helping get it to the FBI, was Colonel Ron Scott. You can look this up. Colonel Scott and I worked on black operations together. So I knew he's a credible guy. I talked to the source. I was given access to the hard drive. So it was 2 years ago, credible. But yet, because I didn't have a D next to my name, and because I wasn't part of the mainstream effort to project a certain image of Joe Biden, my professional judgment, my direct access, my specific ability to help judge and provide access to the media was ignored and suppressed. Just saying.
CBS gave, and all the rest of them, New York Times, ABC, NBC, they gave a false image of Joe Biden.
They did.
For the purposes of that election, and shame on all of them. That's why they can't be trusted. Last week, speaking of somebody who can't be trusted, FBI Director Christopher Wray.
Yeah.
He was asked if he would reveal if confidential human sources were dressed up as Trump supporters and were on the ground on January 6th. Here was his response.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I had to be very careful.
It should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no?
You should not read anything into my decision not to share information.
Colonel, he refused to answer. Now, I can't say that that's a definitive sign that the FBI is compromised by anti-conservative, anti-Republican leaders who are putting their thumbs on the scales of justice, but I can say that has all the earmarks. It has all the earmarks of an FBI that is compromised by anti-conservative, anti-Republican leaders who are putting their thumbs on the scale of justice, can't I?
Right. In this case, a non-denial denial is a confirmation. It's a double negative, like 2 negatives make a positive. Well, that's pretty much what it does here. And so, yes, I am convinced at this point, based on Ray Epps, based on the way he was on the wanted list, and he's not, based on the other indicators, that the FBI was thoroughly involved. I mean, thoroughly involved, as in I wouldn't be surprised if we come to learn within the next 6 months that they had people actually storm the perimeter getting people into the Capitol. Why else would you see all those Capitol Hill police open up and just kind of, like Moses parting the Red Sea, just open it up? So in my judgment, there's no doubt in my mind. There's no, I mean, come on. I know we try to make light because we have a sense of humor, but Chris, this is true. It's very clear at this point that Ray has lied under oath.
We've all seen the video. We've all seen the video. And okay, look, last question.
Sure.
Joe Biden is flushing away $1 billion taxpayer dollars in climate reparations for poor countries. Now, China is deemed a developing nation, so they're not required to pay anything despite being the world's top CO2 emitter. So essentially, Biden is having America pay for something that hasn't been proven, this man-made global warming theory, and letting China off the hook. Colonel, isn't this just another example of the Biden agenda of weakening America and strengthening communist China?
It is. If you believe that CO2 is a pollutant and something that causes climate change, a little bit of a hint here, it's not. It's a gas, not a pollutant. Then China and India are the biggest polluters, if you consider that. Again, they're not pollution. I'm just saying if you go with their narrative. So they're trying at this point to say despite the fact that they are the biggest polluters. We're the ones who are supposed to pay for it. Secondly, Chris, I hope your audience understands there is no global crisis. We are now actually study net cooling phase. The thing that most controls our climate is the sun. And in about 1,000 to 2,000 years, you're going to see glaciation start coming down again. That man's not going to have any control over.
Hold on a minute. It might be breaking news. You know, we might want to alert CBS because they might get to the bottom of this. That big ball of light in the sky has an impact on temperatures on Earth. Oh, my goodness. Colonel. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you, sir.
Happy
Always
Thanksgiving,
appreciate
Chris.
your time.
You too. Thanks, Chris.
Colonel Schaefer right there, folks.
So, there we go. There's that. So let's go back to reading the article itself here. So, you know, this originally came about in the New York Post. And so that's just kind of reviewing here what I was saying. Originally came out 2 years ago. In October 2020, reported that a laptop of then presidential candidate Joe Biden's son showed possibly shady business dealings with China and Ukraine involving the then vice president. When the Post tweeted a link to the story, Twitter suspended its account, saying the story violated its rules against hacked materials. Facebook also limited sharing of the material. The day after Twitter blocked the Post story, then CEO Jack Dorsey posted that the straight blocking of URLs was wrong, and we updated our policy and enforcement to fix. Still, the Post's account remained locked for weeks, with Twitter demanding that Hunter's laptop tweet be deleted. Most of the mainstream media either refused to acknowledge the Lopsat story or claimed it was Russian disinformation well into the year. Technometrica Institute of Policy and Politics showed that 78% of Americans say former President Donald Trump would have won the 2020 election if voters had known the truth about Hunter Biden's laptop. Our last reports showed that 63 likely voters said the story is important, including 44% the story is very important. So, yeah. I missed a lot of what they said in there, but that may have been just kind of reaffirming it. But CBS News confirmed the existence of the laptop earlier this week. So let's find out what exactly CBS News finally had to say about it.
Collection of designs and personal touches to show off your family's style. So no matter what your family's into, you can create a card that celebrates them. Shutterfly will even mail them for you. Know what this says? It says you love your crazy family.
Get 40% off everything from stocking stuffers to cards with code Chris40 at Shutterfly.
Welcome back to CBS Mornings here at 7:30. And as Republicans take control of the House, Hunter Biden, the president's son, will be a target for investigations. And that means data from a laptop reported to belong to Biden could be crucial to the investigatory process. CBS News has obtained its data not through a third party or political operative, but directly from the source, who told us they provided it to the FBI under subpoena. And we commissioned an independent forensic review to determine its authenticity.
How nice of them.
Senior investigative correspondent Catherine Harrods joins us now with what we found. Catherine, I'm very interested. Good morning.
Good morning, Tony. These House Republican investigations are coming, and that could be a challenge for the White House as we head into 2023 and 2024. The laptop data we had analyzed showed no evidence it was faked or tampered with.
Digital forensic investigator Mark Lanterman was previously a member of a Secret Service electronic crimes task force.
There was one thing that got my attention, and that was a voicemail.
It's Dad. I called to tell you I love you. I love you more than the whole world, pal. I gotta get some help.
That voicemail, apparently from Joe Biden during his son Hunter's drug addiction, is one of many findings Lanterman used to authenticate what is believed to be Hunter Biden's laptop data.
You're confident, based on your analysis, this is Hunter Biden's data and that it's real?
Yes.
This Delaware computer shop is where the laptop's backstory begins. Their records indicate in April 2019, Hunter Biden took his laptop in for repair, but never paid. After 90 days, the store considered it abandoned. Then in December 2019, the FBI subpoenaed the store's owner to turn over the computer and a portable drive of its data.
Whatever happened to Hunter?
During the 2020 election, versions were widely shared by Republican operatives, including Rudy Giuliani.
We have the entire hard drive.
But questions were raised about whether additional files were added to those versions. Then candidate Biden labeled the laptop controversy disinformation.
What he's accusing me of is a Russian plant.
CBS News approached the lawyer for the computer repair shop owner to cut through the noise.
We've always had one clean copy.
And obtained a copy of what he says they provided the FBI under subpoena. Then we went to Minneapolis for an independent analysis.
Were you paid by CBS or anyone else to analyze the data?
No.
No.
I wouldn't want anyone to think that someone bought our opinion.
Around the corner, it'll lead you to what we call our imaging room.
Lanterman and his son, Sean, both digital forensic experts, recovered images of credit cards, a driver's license, social security number.
Just the sheer volume of what we're dealing with, it would be difficult, if not impossible, to fabricate.
And explained how files built up over years.
It accumulated over time, which is consistent with normal, everyday use of a computer.
There's some reporting about folders being added.
We have read these articles. We don't see that. So I believe that that's because we have a more pristine copy.
The laptop and its contents have fueled Republican interest in Hunter Biden's business ventures.
Hunter Biden was working with Chinese nationals.
They say this May 2017 email outlining a proposed business deal with a Chinese energy firm is one reason why they have questions about whether President Biden benefited.
We're prepared to subpoena Hunter Biden. We would certainly hope that he would want to come before the committee and clear his name.
Two of Hunter Biden's former business partners, including Tony Bobulinski, who received the email, told CBS News the 10 held by H for the big guy is shorthand for 10% held by Hunter for his father. After the email became public in 2020, the author of the email told the Wall Street Journal Joe Biden was not involved. The author has not responded to CBS News' questions. Mr. Biden has consistently denied knowledge of his son's work or financially benefiting from it.
I've never spoken to my son about overseas business.
Last month, Senator Chuck Grassley wrote this letter alleging bank records and financial data showed that Hunter Biden and the president's brother profited from a $5 million wire from a company connected to CEFC, the Chinese energy firm.
They're going to look at every part of the Joe Biden administration.
Doug High is a Republican strategist.
A lot of this is also going to be aggressive on Hunter specifically. We're going to hear a lot about the laptop, who profited, was the law broken, was it not broken?
After 2 years of scrutiny, the laptop has not produced evidence President Biden directly benefited from his son's business deals.
If there's dirt there, that will dirty him up. If not, those attacks can backfire.
The White House declined to comment. Hunter's lawyer did not address our specific questions about the data or the CBS forensic review, but said there have been multiple attempts to hack, infect, distort, and peddle misinformation regarding Mr. Biden's devices and data. And at no time did any individual, including the IT repair shop owner, Mr. McIsaac, have Mr. Biden's consent to access his computer data or share it with others. The lawyer also referred us to Hunter Biden's memoir, where the president's son slammed the despicable opposition that purported to have a laptop belonging to him. Gail.
It could be a lesson to pay your bills. $85 could have changed everything had the bill been paid. Thank you very much, Catherine. Always good to have you here. Good to see you.
Everybody
Okay.
wakes up in the morning and they are pelted with alerts.
That made perfect sense. All that we need to understand here is that this is an important lesson to pay your bills. Okay. So I don't know specifically how much of this she actually mentioned. But it is possible that some things that were on there could have been added at a later time. But like one of the things that I've heard a little bit about this before, two of Hunter's former business partners, including Tony Popolinsky, received the email, have told CBS News that 10 held by H for the big guy is shorthand for 10% held by Hunter for his father. So what that is referring here is a specific Chinese company. And I say, because of ongoing issues that we have with China, it's probably not a good idea that you get any specific kind of payout. But look here, when Republicans take the majority in the U.S. House of Representatives in January, they promised to focus their investigation powers on Hunter Biden's business deals. Senator Chuck Grassley alleged last month in a letter to the Attorney General, FBI Director, the Delaware U.S. Attorney, that Hunter Biden, the president's brother, James, profited from a $5 million wire from a company connected to CEFC, the Chinese energy firm, in August of 2017. Republican lawmakers noted one particular May 2017 email that promises to be at the core of their congressional probe. I mean, the likelihood that anything's going to come of this, I mean, the guy that they did hire, that somebody was hired by them, I guess, to look at this specifically. What CBS says that they say has not been tampered with. So, I mean, there's just Landerman, I believe, was the one. But the thing of it is, are they going to post any of it? Or are they just going to talk about it? I don't know. Well, I think that tab that I was waiting to load. So, budget for the HP laptop report. And I guess that's... I guess it was indeed an HP. So they're including a couple of different things here. Their cost of the Russian collusion hoax, budget for the HP laptop report. It's just a one-page document. Okay, let's see what it says here. Every law enforcement agency at the federal level of the United States is captured. I don't even understand what that's supposed to mean. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, after much prodding, finally took possession of Hunter Biden's laptop, which was abandoned at a Wilmington, Delaware computer repair shop in December 2019. Agents, one of them being a child pornography investigator, took more than 2 months to respond to the shop owner. When the agents finally did take possession of the laptop, the subpoena was under the pretense of investigating money laundering. Every major news outlet, think tank in America, on the left and the right, is too cowardly. They will call it litigation averse to comprehensively investigate the numerous felonies on the laptop. And then, to top it off, the social media, I'll let go, Polly censors the truth. We the people formed a union to establish justice. The Biden regime is simply not interested in that. Instead, it protects a corrupt and nepotistic bipartisan establishment. Marco Polo, led by a former White House official, has a small research group exposing corruption and blackmail to drive an American Renaissance. They possess a copy of the laptop. They will write a comprehensive report comparable and linked to the Mueller report on real foreign collusion with the Chinese and others for 1% of the cost. Help them make this happen. So yeah, they this is kind of a weird breakdown. So there was 5 teams from August to November, and that's how much it cost. This is just a screen grab of interesting though, because there's no explanation of where all were they traveling to. And for some reason, traveling ended up costing $5,000. And one point for August it was just $500, but for some reason, it went up quite by $1,000, and it stayed consistent that way. from September to November. This must have been, some of it may have to do with what point in the month of August they started, and that could explain why some of this is lower. I'm just confused about why they needed to do so much traveling. I don't really understand. So a devastating op-ed from Maureen Dowd. So let's take a look at the subpoena. The subpoena was on 5/15 of 2019. So the FBI, they've known about it since then because the guy from the shop did call them. But then eventually they got an actual subpoena for it. Well, this is something else. So this was to JP Morgan. All right, so what was all this about? Attached, see, there was no explanation of what the subpoena was actually for. It just said subpoena 5/15/2019. I had no idea. I had no idea that this had something to do with JP Morgan. Attached to subpoena Duces Tecum issued by the federal grand jury requiring the production of certain specified items. The Right to Financial Privacy Act specifically exempts grand jury subpoenas from those provisions of the Act which require a notice to a bank customer prior to compliance with the subpoena for production of that customer's records. Furthermore, you should be aware that 18 U.S.C. makes it a federal crime for an officer of a financial institution to notify either directly or indirectly a customer of that financial institution whose records are sought by a grand jury subpoena, or B, any other person named in that subpoena about the existence or contents of that subpoena or information that has been furnished to the grand jury in response to that subpoena. And that's why generally you oftentimes don't want people to know that there's any kind of grand jury. I hate having to wonder where my cat is at. I gotta go find out where my cat is at. One moment here. Oh. You see, I'm so used to him being a fart in a skillet that when he's not a fart in a skillet, I worry about what he's up to. Okay. He's in the window in the living room, so he's fine. You don't want to risk them possibly trying to, flee the country. You don't want to risk them trying to destroy evidence. So that's why they wouldn't want them to tell them, hey, we got the subpoena here. Just thought you should know. All right, so the return date on the subpoena is Tuesday, June 25th, 2019. However, I would appreciate receiving the responsive documents at your earliest convenience. In addition, please complete the enclosed certificate of authenticity of business records upon production of the requested documents. However, you may also substitute the certificate with one that your company routinely issues when complying with the grand jury and subpoenas. Your cooperation in this matter is appreciated and will help safeguard the integrity of the federal grand jury system. Right. And so this is just general information about what they're looking for, I guess. Ooh, you are commanded to appear in the United States court at the time and place shown below to testify before the grand jury. When you arrive, remain at the court until a judge or court officer allows you to leave. Ooh. So all records, documents, and accounts pertaining to all financial banking transactions with the following known names and or accounts. However, when conducting your search, please do not limit your scope to only the known accounts listed below. And then unknown associated signatory or closed accounts are also requested. So here are all the specific accounts. Surprise, that was blanked out. I'm going to assume that this account no longer exists. But Devin Archer, Edward Stern, and besides the Biden sons are two other names that are listed there. So that may be something that that's worth Googling, those two. And then these are all the different business names that they wanted access to. And this goes clear back to 2014 through the present of when. So until 2019. They wanted 5 years of records. That's a lot. Either these records would include, but not be limited to, either originator, sending, instructing, or ultimate beneficiary bank account. This will include the complete international wire transfer trail from end to end, originator to beneficiary, and any sending, corresponding, intermediary, receiving, and or instructing bank in-betweens. Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, SWIFT. That was something that we actually have. That is actually a name that we've heard before. When people were wanting Russia to be cut off from using Swift, which I don't know if they actually were ever done to do that. Shout outs to the couple of people watching us on Rumble. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave some comments, and support the stream. This is semi help me pay rent Rift stream. All right. So they want the financial transaction instruction messages relating to any and all transactions involving the persons, company, organization, entity, trust listed above, bank transfers or book entries. Yeah, this is a lot of shit. Provide electronic copies of the requested documents if that is more convenient. They had an IRS agent that they could contact with questions. So at this time, that was all just about, money laundering. I don't know how it was that they got the Marco Polo thing behind all that, but that right there, I mean, it looks legit. It looks very similar to other documents that I've seen. So I believe that is legit. So there are some things that are a little bit confusing here. I wish they explained what the fuck SAR is supposed to mean. But here is their, I believe it's supposed to be their full report. It took them several months to do. Okay, and it wants me to download that. So we're now downloading that. While we're waiting for that to download, Remember, I told you that people were worried about what Musk would do. I don't think that when it came specifically to that, and I don't know that we've gotten to look at that yet. Well, we might have, but some of you might have missed it. So let's go back and look at that. You know, the reason why everybody could be saying that it's gonna fail is because of this right here. We already know that that Facebook came out and said that, you know, we were kind of getting told here how to play this stuff out. But the funny thing that it is that everybody kind of wanted us to be worried about, the implications of Elon Musk controlling this company, the national security risk. Are we really worried about the national security risks? Or are we just more worried that for those that may have been on the fence for how that they were going to vote, are we more worried that he's just going to take gasoline and a lighter and just explode it? Are we really more worried about that? Kind of makes you wonder. Kind of makes you wonder what they're really worried about. Man, this report is going to take a long time. So while that's still downloading, let's take a look at some of the rest of this. Let's see what this says about her laptop, or not her laptop, her diary. That that's not true. That's fake. But yeah, we might have, you know, someone that was arrested and charged in connection with that. That's something that eventually came out. So let's keep in mind that this is not the original. This is transcribed. So when you see that, you kind of, well, wait a minute. Here's the original. Here's the original. So they have one that's transcribed. They have this one. And then they have what they say is the original. And so the reason that's transcribed is because they're saying that the original is hard to read. So that's going to take a little bit to load here. So let's go back and let's look at this. So this is a transcribed one. What they say is the original, as you can see, is still loading. And this is the transcribed one. So this was from 1/25/2019. End of a New York month. I am sitting out of bed and at the I building, actually loving the freedom yet support I feel outside my doors. Florida seems safe and plus comforting to me, and I'm supposed to map out the rest of my years. 5 years, 3 years, 1 year. I'm also trying to sort out my life. What is it that I want and need? Focused on myself this time around, but like a kid with Asperger's, unsettled in the change. I obviously don't know what the future holds, but also I don't know where I'll be. But I would like to remain sober, although getting high, like an Asperger's kid. Wait, what does that even mean? What does it mean to get high like an Asperger's kid? What the hell is that even supposed to mean? Oh, Jesus, Joseph, and Mary. What the hell is that even supposed to mean? I've known a couple of young kids with Asperger's, not very many adults. But you know, this is just a stream of consciousness she's having. What we pay attention to grows, and so what if I tried another strategy to acknowledge when really hurting or just pretend and put out my consciousness? I'm not sure what the I building was. So as you can see, I mean, at this point we're not really seeing anything that's really dangerous. They've got some notes here. I want to see what this is about. It's possible that was supposed to be concrete. They weren't actually sure. Here she might have been talking about so this is actually going to jump around a little bit. This is going to jump around to January 2020. So she's been sober for a year, working on livelihood as main job, project, living Florida weather, but home is where my family is. Super solid, single. Oh no! Wait a minute. No, I see. This is everything she's wanting a year from now. Okay. All right. I guess I should read the entire thing, shouldn't I? If I read the entire thing, I would realize this isn't jumping around. We are still waiting for the original to load. All we got right now is this one. I'm assuming that it's because it's a lot of scanned pages, and so it's probably the size of it is a little bit different. So on 1/26/19, all of this was on 1/26/19. It didn't jump ahead like I thought it did. I didn't read the entire thing. Feel free, you all, to tell me to get with the fucking program and figure out what the hell I'm doing. So open your eyes to a new light. I have wandered around your darkened land all night, cried this morning because I realized that part of this thick pain in my heart is related to the fact that I don't have either brother as part of my life. That's a heavy, sad truth. It's raining here in Florida, I building. Actually nice to be in I building. Don't have to deal with the chaos of it all. I am slowly healing in new ways. This past time was a relapse that maybe I needed. So I guess relapses can be a blessing in disguise, is what you're saying? I concentrated on Kevin last time and not myself. This time, I'm going to be different. I may go see a movie today. I don't have ADD, do I? Huh? I don't know. Don't know why she added that on there. I've made peace with all of it somehow. Maybe it was just time. Maybe this is how you mend and heal, by giving time and walking through it. I want to imagine a different, or rather more fulfilled life for myself. It definitely involves sobriety and making some hard, concrete decisions in the next 4 months. A year from now, in January 2020. Been sober from cocaine and hard for a year, working on livelihood as a main project. Living Florida weather, but home is where my family is. Super solid single or beginning to date, find romance. Not in a relationship limo. Eggs frozen, harvested, pregnant. So she learning a lot of personal stuff here, that she wanted her eggs frozen. Fucking non-smoker. Always a good idea if you, what I understand, that can definitely, affect your chances of a healthy pregnancy. So it's good she recognizes the need to stop smoking. Exploring other opportunities, taking them for career. No debt and credit built. Good ideas. I know that adventure must be added to my sobriety list. And it is. I am jumping in shower, going to get my car, and then see where the day takes me. What is my number one goal today? To see if you can not smoke a cigarette without others, babe. Only. Do not contact Kevin. Just don't do it. Attend to meetings. Do something fun for self. Movie. So, this is basically, it sounded like it's supposed to be about her year journey for sobriety. I'm not really sure everyone wants to listen to me read the whole thing. So, here is supposedly the original. It finally is loaded. I know that there was things. I'm wondering if I'll be able to go through here and see specifically where she talks about her dad, because I know that that was a thing. But it's like talking about, I guess showering with her dad and, wild stuff like that. But I don't know how easily they're set up here. Let me do that. Let's see here. All right, let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's one of the first mentions of taking a shower. Let's see where this kind of begins. Yikes. So she writes this on 1/30/2019. So thankful that January is almost over. 1/27/19 is my date, and god damn it, it better be my last. I've had one of my hardest days. My sex drive is out of fucking control. Like, literally, I am in heat. Ooh. I told Kevin the truth about how I was feeling. Felt exposed and vulnerable, so didn't go to dinner. Needed a break from seeing him. We were supposed to have therapy session on Monday. I'm still unsure of it all. There are a piece of me that wishes I didn't have to do it, but maybe it would be healing, and then again, maybe it would open up more wounds that will take me longer to adjust and get over with. I'm going to give it a few days and see how I feel. I erased his number from my phone, so can't contact him unless he is to contact me, which he won't. I think I need to have sex in order. Oh my word. I think I need to have sex in order to feel good about not having sex and to get over with. Neil's friend is a sex addict, which might work as well. Oh my. Oh, sweet Jesus. I know it's not the healthiest way to deal with things, but at least it's better than drugs. I'm not going to argue with that. Is it though? Is it? Maybe? It's better than drugs. I am focused on myself and my needs, and sex seems, at least at this moment, to be one of them. I don't know if I even need to kiss a guy. Just come over and fuck me sober. Oh, dear Lord. I think I'm going to go to the AA meeting tomorrow night. Or maybe you need a sex addict anonymous. I don't know. You might be trying to replace one addiction for another here. I think I'm going to go to the AA meeting tomorrow night, and maybe he will be there, maybe not. But I have always been boy crazy. I remember pulling up my skirt in second grade. Oh my gosh. And showing the boys my underpants. Oh my goodness. Hypersexualized at a young age. What does this do to? Was I molested? I think so. I can't remember specifics, but I do remember trauma. I remember not liking the Wolzak's house. I wonder who that was. I remember somewhat being sexualized with Caroline. I remember having sex with friends at a young age. Showers with my dad. At the Walters house, I remember somewhat being sexualized with Caroline. I remember having sex with friends at a young age. Showers with my dad. Probably not appropriate. Being turned on when I wasn't supposed to be. I remember the Q-tips. I hated getting my ears clean. Beating my vagina due to overhearing my parents have sex. What the? Why would you? My mom. What made me so attached? So attached to sex? My mother, not emotionally available. My father was message I could get love from men. I'm not your mother. Blanket being taken away. Not letting myself go to the bathroom. Being wiped until too late in the game. I can list all the reasons, but I can't seem to find the solution. So there's the first time. What is the second time that she talks about showers? I'm just wondering if there's like so much of a big deal was made out of it, but that's really the only time she talks about it. Let's see. Let's go through what is supposed to be the original here. See how easy it is to search that and find the word shower, just so we can verify. Oh, see, that's hard to do. Well, it's supposed to be somewhere around page 24. Well, they've gone to 2 pages though. Well, let's look at what the date was. For that first mention. 1:30. So we would have to go to 1:30 on here. 1:27. 1:28. Okay, so we do see the mirroring of what they said they transcribed there. Interesting. Well, I'm not going to worry about reading this entire thing. I'm still waiting for this right here to finish downloading. So let's see here. Let's see if we can get some of this to load.
You're against me. Because the same way you used Carly against me. The same. What? Oh my God. Okay. Never mind.
I wonder why he filmed this.
That it's going to affect you in any way. For all of us? What do you mean for all of us? It isn't already all of us? Hallie, it isn't already all of us? So what are you scared about? It's already happened. No, Hallie, it already came to me.
It's gonna keep coming.
To me.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Okay.
And I'm sorry that came to you. Of course, I'm sorry. But I'm not causing that.
I didn't say you caused it. All I expected.
Well, it's buffering.
It was literally just a modicum of of compassion to talk about that rather than to ask me what my program is like.
I didn't. I said, are you connecting? Do you feel like
I know, Hallie, and there's no answer to that.
Okay.
I'm in rehab.
Okay, so this right here gives us a little bit of insight. They have the transcript doing this. This is I see it looks like it's from the Mo Crack More Problems, a devastating op-ed from Maureen O'Dowd, I believe is what this is supposed to be. So this was recorded on 2/24/2019. All right, I'm going to keep playing this. I'm going to follow along with the
No, I'm asking you how. What way?
Wait a minute, I want to back up here a little bit. I was sharing the wrong tab. Hold on, sorry.
Respond. I mean, you can't understand this. How can you not see how devastating this is to me?
Because I want it to be more than just about you.
Hallie,
I want you to
it is
see
about
there
me
are
and my
5
children.
kids, and
No, there is me and my children.
okay.
It obviously is not affecting you in any way.
Of course it is.
How?
What are you talking about?
How?
Okay.
I'm asking you how.
See outside.
No, I'm asking you how. In what way?
Don't make it better.
No, I'm asking you in what terms.
Is it frozen?
Business dealings that they're gonna criticize. I don't have any
Business dealings?
I don't know where they're gonna go with you. It's not just like it's not all about me that they're attacking.
I didn't say it was.
Okay, well then what are you blaming me for? Why am I
I'm not blaming you for anything, Hallie. I'm saying to you, it would seem to me that you would call and not expect me to apologize for the things that I've done to harm you today. is that you would have called after reading that article and you would have said, you know what, this really sucks for you.
Of course it sucks for you.
Well, that's what I thought you were calling about.
I didn't even know about the article.
Well, then once you read it, what did you not, didn't you think that maybe is what you should say?
I'm sorry, hon. I know it's hard for you.
Oh, God. I mean, you're so, okay. I mean, see this, I mean,
I guess I want you to see the bigger part here on how much damage you've done to me, Natalie and Hunter,
damage I've done.
and your kids.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
What are you talking the damage I've done to you?
Are you kidding, hon?
Hey, you're telling me right now, right in this moment, that what I should be focusing on is how much damage I've done to you and my children. That's what's going to get me sober.
And my children.
And your children. The damage I've done.
I want you to talk about that with your therapist. Absolutely. And if I come visit, I would like to talk about that.
Okay.
Yes.
So what you're telling me is that what you called me to tell me is not only was I supposed to apologize to you, is that you also want me in this time to be purely focusing on what an asshole I've been to
I
my
think
family.
to own the shit that you've done
Yes,
is
to
more
own the
important
shit
than
that I've
worrying
done.
about the articles that are going to come out.
No,
I do. I do. I do. I think
what-
it's more
say that
important
again?
for you to recognize the damage you've done to your family. Yes, that is most important. And so
Okay,
that you
I'm
don't
not
do it
kidding you.
again.
I'm not kidding you now. I'm asking earnestly because I have talked about that. But what is the damage that you perceive that I've done? Because
Okay, I'll talk to it with the
No,
therapist.
I
I'm
wanna
not
know.
gonna have no. I'm
No.
not gonna talk on the phone and argue.
I'm
When
not
I
arguing. I'm
if you
asking you.
want me
I'm
to
being
come,
totally
I would
serious.
love to have a therapy session, and we will talk about it
Hallie,
there.
I'm being serious. What
I
is
get
it that you
I'm
see?
not gonna talk about it unless there's a therapist present. Okay?
So you want me
I'd love to do it.
You want me
Like
to wonder?
traditionally, when you have a partner and they're in rehab, and I come
Wait a
visit.
second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Do not say that. I've asked 50 times to be able to do that with you. You've never, ever,
You
ever.
weren't sober.
What
Shut
does
the
it?
fuck, because it does matter. Talk to your therapist about that. Come on.
Hallie, did you call to do this to me right now?
No. I'm sorry.
Why are you doing
I'd love to come and talk to a
Okay,
therapist.
so you can come, Hal. But let me just ask you: did you call right now to do this to me?
No, I guess you're right, and I'm sorry, and I can't help myself. I have so much anger. I do.
So why did you keep calling me then?
Because I love you.
So, no,
And
because
I'm
you're
proud
so
of you,
angry
and
at
I
what?
want you to, and I want you to know that.
So angry, and you're proud of me, and you want to blow me up
Yes,
in the middle,
I know.
right at the same time.
I don't
always.
want to blow you up.
What,
I
you don't
want
think
you
this blows me up today?
Well, you're in a place that you can go and work through
I'm in
it.
a place I can walk out of too, Hal.
Well, don't.
Just like you did.
Would you? Oh my God.
Oh my God, what?
Okay.
What? Did you call to do this to me?
No.
Man,
I love you. I'm sorry. I'd love to come and talk with a therapist with you.
Literally, for real. I know all the things that I've done.
Okay, well then act a little more, contrite.
I am trying to, Hallie. I was trying to actually.
Humble.
Hallie,
Instead of saying thanks for telling me that, about the article, or thanks for, I don't know, have you been supportive? I didn't notice. I mean, those are your jabs at me. Like it's on me to.
I didn't say anything's on you.
Okay, well then, to say you didn't notice that I've been supportive, that I've reached out to you every day. I've reached out to you every day. I've offered to visit you. I've told you I love you.
You sent me a 2-line text.
So you don't think that's supportive?
Just send me a 2-line text.
Every day. Every day.
No, I don't.
Okay, then I won't do it.
I didn't say, hi, go ahead. Hi, how are you? That's supportive?
Because you're not answering anymore.
Okay.
I'm thinking about you.
Good
I
night,
miss you. I love
my
you.
love.
Can I come? Yeah, that's
Happy
fucking
Valentine's
sweet.
Day. I love you. Good morning.
Okay,
I'd love to hear your voice.
then I won't do it.
No, I'm just saying, this is your
If
support.
you don't find that
Hi,
supportive.
sweetheart. Thinking of you.
Okay.
How are you?
Ask your therapist if that's supportive or not.
What is...
All right. It's not supportive enough for you. It's not enough for you.
I didn't say it was not enough for me.
What are you trying to say?
then I don't know what you would want me to do while you're there, and I don't know that
any of
you're
your
there.
part in this? Have you found any of your part in this? Have you
We'll
talked
talk about that when I'm with the therapist, okay? With you.
No, I'm asking you, have you
And you
found
can
any of your part in this?
We can discuss it
When
with
we
your therapist.
were sober, when we were both sober.
Oh my God, we've never been sober together. Come on.
Shit, I was in fucking rehab, Holly, and you came and fucking.
Oh my God. Okay.
What's oh my
You want to continue to talk about us trying to get sober?
Oh, God.
I love you.
No,
I'm gonna
you
go.
don't.
I gotta get the kids going.
You called me to go and where? On Sunday?
CCD, yeah. I love you.
Holly, it's
I'll
9
talk
o'clock.
with you if you want
It's
to.
9 o'clock.
Okay. I don't want to get aggravated.
So they're going to CCD at 9 o'clock?
I gotta get them up.
But they're not going to CCD.
Yeah, they are.
What time?
10. Natalie's at
It's
Lexi's.
9
I gotta get her.
Callie,
I have to go get her. I have to get myself up. I'm very angry. I want to calm myself
what
down.
are you angry about? Explain to me, please. Because you're the one who asked to talk to me. What are you angry about? I didn't say anything. What are you angry about?
We'll talk about it with
No,
the
honey,
therapist.
I have not said a word.
Anger. I have a ton of anger and
So you called me to tell me that I need to talk to my therapist about how I've ruined my family's life?
Well, I think we should discuss that while you're there.
Okay, but why did you call me at 9 o'clock in the morning to tell me that? On the morning that the Marine Dowd article comes out?
I didn't know about Marine Dowd.
Well, you did before you started talking to me,
You wouldn't
Allie.
attack me, that you would be a bit more humble.
I did
but
not
I was
attack
wrong,
you.
and it pissed me off.
I didn't attack you.
Okay, you said I'm going to use against you.
No, I said to
And
you,
then you
Allie,
said I haven't
I
been
don't want to
supportive.
give you
You didn't
information
notice
about this
I was being
program
supportive.
because
Okay.
I'm afraid that you'll use it against me as not being
I
enough.
can't keep talking. We're going to go round and round in
I'm
circles.
not arguing, Allie. I'm asking you.
I don't know. I think we should schedule a visit, and we'll talk with the therapist. I'm not going to continue to argue, and I don't want to talk and make things worse.
That's a crack cocaine type. He's supposed to be in therapy right now.
Hello?
Yeah.
All right. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I won't say it. I don't know how to end.
I didn't say that. I just don't understand. I mean, I didn't even start an argument. I didn't say a word.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I didn't say a single thing.
I guess we're just not ready to talk yet.
Well, Holly, then why did you call me 50 times and ask to talk and I didn't say a word?
I thought you were in a different state of mind.
Holly. I just said that I don't think it's a good thing for me to talk about this program. I'm afraid that you'll use it against me.
That's fine. And that if you don't find me supportive,
Holly, I didn't say that
I
I'm
won't
find you
continue.
supportive. I don't know what you think is supportive by saying, I'm glad that you asked if you could come visit me. That was very nice of you.
No, you didn't say that. You said,
I'm saying now. I appreciate that you asked to come to visit me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go.
Just don't understand why you would tell me that what I need to do in rehab is to go through all of the reasons why I ruined your life.
I didn't say that. I said that I want you to work on the damage that you've caused.
And that's not an unreasonable
and the family. Yeah.
thing for her to ask him to do.
That I've caused.
Yeah, I think that's time to take some ownership for that.
It's not an unreasonable thing that she's asking, and
to the kids
you think that I should
everyone.
go through my 5th step right now?
Not fully, but I think it's that's what you would work on with your therapist there.
It's just weird that she would ask and he would be so mad. That's what you want me to do with my time here? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of working through different things is kind of the whole entire point of being in rehab. My cat is trying to eat my popcorn. No! My popcorn, not your popcorn. Here. Get in your stroller. Get in your stroller. Come on. This is the best place for you to be. There we go. Right in your stroller. Say hi to the internet, Maverick. Say hi. I know. Mommy has been on here for a long fucking time. And that's annoying. But you'll live. You'll be okay. I understand that Mommy has nothing else to do. And now you're biting me. Biting me when I'm trying to pay you. This is important here. We're hearing all about
You've done to everybody.
his family
Did you
issues.
work on that? I'm being totally serious.
Okay, this is ridiculous. Then it's,
No, I'm
you
asking you
are
for real.
far from
No,
ready.
honey, I'm being totally serious.
I don't want to hear what I've done or
No,
what
I'm
I
not
did with
asking you
my
what you've
therapist.
done. I don't know what you've done. No, I don't know what you've done. I don't know what you've done. I'm not making any accusation of any sort. Did you work on all of the
Are you kidding? Did I ever have one day of my life that my children didn't know where I was? Ever.
Why do you think my children don't know where I am?
Is that what you want to say?
No, I'm asking you, what makes you think that my children don't know where I am?
Does everyone know where you are? They know the name, the location. If they wanted to stop and visit you, they could all show up today. Is that right?
Sure.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Natalie and Hunter don't know.
That's because I don't trust them not to tell you.
Okay.
What's wrong with
If
that?
you want to talk to the therapist, call me.
Oh, come on, honey. If you want to talk with your therapist, have him call me.
Okay.
Who's your therapist?
So that's interesting. I don't know why this was recorded. I don't know if it was decided to record things like this to review with his therapist. And Orgy would do.
Writing was interesting. He's really good. He's really good. I'm getting texts from him, and I'm getting texts from this friend that I set up in Istanbul, saying he and my Turkish friend.
So this
are
thing
butting
is an
heads.
hour
It's great.
long.
He told us that you had an orgy with Mick Jagger and Daphne Guinness. Is this true?
Is it true?
Half true. Half true.
What, Daphne Guinness, but not Mick Jagger? What's the half of it?
Daphne Guinness. Long time ago.
Well, I'm ready for any of your orgies.
I'm very, very, very private, and
Well, clearly, people are talking about your orgies with Mick Jagger and Daphne Guinness
well,
from Istanbul.
this is something. I mean, did he,
I love when
he
you
had
say that
from
shit.
Daphne Guinness. No, but he
You're
had that
so
from
full of
Daphne
shit. It's unbelievable. I'm private, baby.
No, but this is from a friend of mine who thinks he's texting me because he thinks I'm really prudish and really private. He's like, how come I never know about your boyfriend? How come I never know about any of this stuff? Yeah,
Don't say it because you're proud of it.
So it's fine. Okay. What was I doing? I was looking. Oh, I wanted you to listen to this, which I thought was kind of interesting.
But anyway, what I'm saying, and then let me hear what your friend said about me, because it's all about me, baby.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Russell Brand?
Yes, very much so.
On addiction.
Yeah, and he's wonderful, and I'm glad that he's helping other people. But come on, dude. I mean, like, I get it, and I agree with him 100%, and I really do. And I think that most of what he's saying is absolutely true. But again, you know what? There is a lack of understanding of the reality of real addicts' lives. Russell Brand is talking to the addict that has the choice to even go to fucking rehab, that has AA in their neighborhood. I mean, you may think it's fucking ubiquitous, but the truth of the matter is that, you know, most of the addicts, and Russell Brand does not choose to hang out with the people that I hang out with. And I don't choose to hang out with them because they are the dregs of society and I'm doing some kind of like cultural fucking exploration, or you know, I do because that's where I find to be home. In reality, for real. Not the drug, but the person. There is a truth to that, and most people are absolutely in the stratosphere we live in, are appalled by more than anything, appalled by the fact that I live with a homeless person. Not that
It
I was doing
isn't
crack.
clear who this person is. I'm not really understanding who this Philip Horan dude is. So let's. All right. The most important thing that we really wanted to look at has finally downloaded, and that is the entire report. So let's see here. This is what I'm understanding. It is the entire report by this company called Marco Polo on the Biden laptop. Okay, so Marco Polo is a nonprofit research group exposing corruption and blackmail to drive on American results. Given the explicit nature of the content on the Biden laptop, this report is for adult readership. Errors are the fault of the authors alone, and if identified, will be amended immediately. Please send all inquiries and corrections to info@marcopolousa.org. I'm wondering if I could convince this person to come on the show. Thy sin's not accidental, but a trade. All right. So here's the table of contents. This is whoa. Wow. This is going to take some freaking time to get through. Holy moly. I am not going to be able to get through all of this tonight. I am just not. Wow. All right. I think this is what I'm going to do. We are going to make a plan to read through this at various times. I'm not going to try and get through all of this tonight. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it because I've been live for over 2 hours. So we are definitely going to have to come back to this. There is one thing that I found particularly interesting here. One last article that I want to share. So, San Francisco is pretty much considered, a cesspool when it comes to just violence and drugs. And, being woke and very, very far left in their government and their attitude towards things. So, here's something kind of interesting. San Francisco police consider letting robots use deadly force. What could possibly go wrong? The San Francisco Police Department submitted a proposal that would give robots the ability to use deadly force in dangerous situations. Now, I will say this. I will say that there could be certain situations where, like if you couldn't get access to a suspect, it had been decided that, they needed to be taken out, but you didn't have a clear view of them. A drone or another device might be able to get in there and do what needs to be done. But if they start talking about just having robots patrolling various places, no, those couldn't be hacked. Those couldn't, malfunction. The San Francisco Police Department is proposing a new policy that would give robots the license to kill, as reported earlier by Mission Local via Engadget. The draft policy, which outlines how the SFPD can use military-style weapons, state robots can be used as deadly force option when risk of loss of life to members of the public or officers is imminent and outweighs any other force option. Okay. As reported by Mission Local, members of the city's Board of Supervisors Rules Committee have been reviewing the new equipment policy for several weeks. The original version of the draft didn't include any language surrounding robots' use of deadly force until Aaron Peskin, the dean of the city's Board of Supervisors, initially added that robots shall not be used as a use of force against any person. However, the SFPD returned the draft with the red line crossing out Peskin's addition, placing it with a line that gives robots the authority to kill suspects. According to Mission Local, Peskin eventually decided to accept the change because there could be scenarios where deployment of lethal force was the only option. San Francisco's Rules Committee unanimously approved a version of the draft last week, which will face the Board of Supervisors on November 29th. So, I guess here's an example of a robot, a machine gun mounted to the same type of robot owned by the SFPD. Wow. A machine gun, though? Good lord. I can understand. You see, that was photo by Sergeant Lori Jewell. I can understand why the military might have something like that, but wow. As outlined in the policy, the SFPD currently has 17 remotely piloted robots, but only 12 are functioning. In addition to granting robots the ability to use deadly force, the proposal authorizes them for use in training and simulations, criminal apprehensions, critical incidents, exigent circumstances, executing a warrant, or during suspicious device assessments. Okay. While most of the robots listed in the SFPD's inventory are primarily used for defusing bombs or dealing with hazardous materials, newer remotic models have an optional weapons system. And the important existing F5A has a tool called the Pan Disruptor that can load 12-gauge shotgun shells. Dang, it's typically used to detonate bombs from a distance. Now that, I could possibly see why they might want to have the ability to do that. The department's Quinnetic Q Talon can also be modified to hold various weapons. A weaponized version of the robot is currently used by the U.S. Army and can equip grenade launchers, machine guns, or even a 50 caliber anti-material rifle. Wow. That's wild that we have robots in the battlefield that can do that. That's crazy. SFPD has always had the ability to use lethal force when the risk of loss of life to members of the public or officers are imminent and outweighs any other force options available, says SFPD officer Eve-Warner. I cannot even say that name. I'm could be wrong, but that's something about that sounds Native American to me. Satitaya in a statement to the Verge. SFPD does not have any sort of specific plan in place as the unusually dangerous spontaneous operations where SFPD needs to deliver deadly force via robot would be a rare and exceptional circumstance. The Dallas Police Department used a robot to carry out deadly force for the first time in 2016. It used a bomb disposal robot, the same remote F5A model owned by the SFPD, armed with an explosive device to kill a suspect who shot and killed 5 police officers and wounded several others. I forgot about that. At the time, Dallas Police Chief David Brown said the department saw no other option but to use our bomb robot and place a device on its extension for it to detonate where the suspect was. I forgot about that. Well, last month, a report from The Intercept revealed that California's Oakland Police Department was also considering letting shotgun-equipped remote F5A robots use deadly force. Shortly after the report came out, the Oakland PD announced on Facebook it decided against adding armed remote vehicles to the department. Meanwhile, a group of robot makers, included Boston Dynamics, signed a pledge not to weaponize their robots earlier this year. I had forgotten about that, but I vaguely remember that now. And I can understand being kind of scary a little bit to people that. Let's see if this gives us everything we know about the bomb robot used by Dallas police. In the early... are we sharing this right? Yeah, we're sharing this right. In the early hours of Friday morning, police officers in Texas took what they thought to have been an unprecedented action for U.S. law enforcement. Using a bomb disposal robot, they killed the suspect in last night's shooting in Dallas after negotiations with the individual broke down. But we saw no other option but to use our bomb robot and place a device on its extension for it to detonate where the suspect was. Other options would have exposed our officers to great danger. The suspect is deceased as a result of detonating the bomb, Dallas Police Chief David Brown told reporters. Many experts believe this is the first time that a bomb disposal robot has been used in this way on U.S. soil. Such robots are controlled remotely and used for tasks such as surveillance and investigating suspect bombs. Some are equipped with two-way intercoms and even cameras to allow for police to negotiate with suspects without risk. When deployed for bomb disposal, they often use small explosives in order to trigger the larger bomb. Bomb disposal robots have been used to kill enemy combatants in Iraq. But it's just like blowing someone up, though. It's just like, that's a whole nother level. That's just a whole nother level. That's crazy. But while their intended function is not to injure enemy combatants or criminals, this isn't the first time they've been put to this use. Peter W. Singer, an expert in military technology and think tank strategist, tweeted that U.S. troops in Iraq had used their own bomb disposal robots in this way. Singer described this practice, which is used by cheap disposable robots called the Mark Bot, in an essay in the book Changing Character War. The Mark robot is not just notable for its small size, it was the first ground robot to draw blood in Iraq. One unit of U.S. soldiers jury-rigged their Mark robots to carry Claymore anti-personnel mines. If they thought an insurgent was hiding in an alley, they would send a Mark robot down first. If they found someone waiting in ambush, take him out with a Claymore. Of course, each insurgent killed in this fashion met $5,000 worth of blown up robot parts, but so far the Army has not billed the soldiers. Kelsey Atherton, a writer for Popular Science who specializes in defense technology, tweeted that he too thought it was the first for U.S. law enforcement. He pointed out the whole point of having robots is to do things we cannot safely ask willing humans to do, and that although this was an extraordinary use for the robot, last night was an extraordinary case. An important thing to stress is that the robot was completely under human control. Bomb disposal bots are not autonomous. They rely on human decision and human controllers, and as such, have quite a long history. Atherton later tweeted pictures of remote-controlled demolition vehicles used by the Nazis in World War II. These were radio-controlled, equipped with miniature tank treads, and used for tasks like blowing up enemy tanks. The bomb disposal bot used by the Dallas police may have been more technologically sophisticated than these decade-old robots, but its end purpose was just as straightforward. Bomb disposal robots, though, have emerged as a flexible tool for law enforcement, particularly SWAT teams. In April, members of the California Highway Patrol used a bomb disposal robot to deliver pizza to a suspect, effectively ending a standoff. And in 2013, a SWAT team in Albuquerque used their bot to remove the blanket from a suicidal individual barricaded in his room, checking whether or not he was armed. No weapon was found, and the SWAT team took him into custody. It is not yet clear what robot was used by the Dallas police, but it's been suggested that it is too likely a Mark bot, many of which have found their way into the hands of law enforcement via military surplus programs. Wow. Outside of the ethical questions facing the Dallas police tomorrow, what led them to the decision to simply kill the suspect rather than try other options to capture them, this incident raises a number of practical considerations. These include the decreased usefulness of such robots as negotiators. If suspects fear them as potential assassins, why bother to talk to the police at the other end? True. Fair. There's also the issue of safety and control. How secure was the communication line between the robot and its controller? Was there a chance of the bomb exploding prematurely or by accident? And how can a negotiator know that negotiation is pointless if they're not physically in the room with a suspect? Should that be a concern in situations where there is danger posed to the general public? There will be many more questions in these as details emerge about last night's and this morning's events, and while this is not the start of killer robots taking human lives, it is another example of government using technology to exert lethal force at a distance. This is a debate we've started with military drones and their use in foreign countries. Now the conversation is domestic as well. Well, let's look at these remote controlled, because that's pretty cool. I mean, that was pretty interesting that they had something like that in World War II. The Goliath mind. Goliath or Leitstriger Goliath. Or Goliath Light Charge Carrier. was a series of 2 unmanned ground vehicles used by the German army as disposal demolition vehicles during World War II. These were the electrically powered SD KFC 302 and the petrol engine powered SD KFC 303A and 303B. They were known as Beetle tanks by the Allies. So they were able to carry up to 220 pounds of explosives. And there's a picture. I mean, that is pretty cool. All right, peeps. I believe that it is time for me to call it a night. And as always, I ask you to remember, this might be you, and this might be the universe, but remember, it takes a lot of little these to make the universe that we want it to be. All right? So you are a powerful and important part of making the universe that we want. All right? So never doubt your worth. Be sure to remind those that you love of their worth. God bless. Have a great night.